Many movies from across the world have featured protagonists who were lovable losers. In the UK, there was George Formby and Tony Hancock and Norman Wisdom and Mr. Bean. In the USA, it was Charlie Chaplin, Lou Costello, and the characters Jerry Lewis played until Scorsese hired him for King of Comedy. In France, it was Monsieur Hulot, and in Mexico, it was Cantinflas. In Australia, we had Bill the Sentimental Bloke a century ago, and Shane Jacobson's Kenny, the lovable Portaloo installer. But Japan outdid the lot of them. From the 1960s to the 1990s, the Land of the Rising Sun had the most prolific, lovable loser of them all. He appeared in 50 movies, all the same character, all the same actor. That character was Kuruma Torajiro, also known as Tora-San. The actor was a former Asakusa strip club comic known as Atsumi Kiyoshi. In 1968, Fuji TV created a Tora-San TV series which ran for one season. At the end of the season, they killed the character off with a snake bite. The public went crazy, so they decided to make a movie. Just one. Tora-San was an itinerant peddler, flogging his wares in markets across Japan. He has a family, an uncle and an aunt who run a dango shop in Shibamata on the outskirts of Tokyo. And a kind-hearted half-sister Sakura, her husband Hiroshi, and a nephew Tatsuo. All up, there were 50 movies about Tora-San made. They're all a bit formulaic. They start with Torajiro dreaming about being a hero, including a Clint Eastwood spaghetti western gunslinger in a movie called Tora-San the Intellectual. But then we find him peddling whatever he's selling at the time in different prefectures of Japan. He ambles home to Shibamata to visit with the family, and he meets a Madonna, a beautiful woman with whom he falls in love. Inevitably, Tora-San, though liked by the woman, is friend-zoned. And embarrassed, he heads off to some new part of Japan. Tora-San is considered a joke by the people of Shibamata, except for his sister Sakura and the local Shinto high priest who offers him some wisdom. You see chalked graffiti across the town with caricatures of him saying, "Tora-San is a fool." The formula never worried me while I was watching these movies. It's a comfortable framework around which the stories are woven. Tora-San was incredibly popular in Japan. He breaks social conventions, and the movies are full of scatological jokes. There's a really great fart joke in Tora-San the Intellectual. He's uneducated, boorish, and at times rude, especially when he drinks. But inevitably he apologizes for his transgressions with real regret, and he strives to be a better man. He's mocked for his appearance because he has a square face. He gets no respect. Tora-San wants to settle down and live a good life, but fate never lets him do that. He's honest about his emotions and his shortcomings. He messes up a lot, and yet magically, his clueless, anarchic behaviour makes things better for the people around him. Unlike Western cinema's lovable losers, Tora-San is an agent of order, not chaos. There are never any villains in Tora-San's movies, which I find a refreshing difference between this series and English language movies. Tora-San doesn't need bad guys as a contrast. He's just a rambling fool looking for his best self. He's a metaphor for our journey through life. We start out foolish and we carry foolishness to some degree with us throughout life. We search for love and acceptance in our place in the world, and we try to make things better for the people we care about. You can also look at Tora-San through the lens of class. He and his family are working class people on the fringe of Tokyo. Tora's brother-in-law Hiroshi works at a printing plant next to the dango shop. In the first movie, Sakura is about to marry a wealthy executive's son, but Tora, through some drunken clumsiness at a pre-engagement meeting, ruins that prospect for her. As the movie progresses, Sakura realizes that she actually loves Hiroshi, and she would not know that except for Tora-San's chaotic and embarrassing drunkenness. The wealthy people in that movie are portrayed as Americanized Japanese who discard tradition for the economic imperialism of the post-war occupation. Instinctively, Tora-San rejects this. Although marginalized by the townspeople of Shibamata, he is open-heartedly Japanese. The wedding scene in Otoko wa Tsurai yo, where Hiroshi's estranged parents reconcile with their son because of Tora-San's drunken open-heartedness, brought a tear to my eye. Tora-San also remained very contemporary. In one of the last movies, 1995's Tora-San to the Rescue, the family haven't seen him in months, but then they see him on news footage of the aftermath of the 1995 Kobe earthquake, feeding homeless people and organising volunteers. As Hiroshi says in that movie, disasters bring out Tora-San's special ability. He helps other people. These movies are unashamedly sentimental, and even at the time they were made, they were old-fashioned. But for generations of Japanese moviegoers, they were a twice-a-year comfort food entertainment. Hatsumi Kiyoshi died in 1996, but in 2019, a new movie celebrating half a century of Tora-San, Tora-San Welcome Back, shows the family members remembering their wayward, lovable fool. Keeping with the sentimental nature of the whole series, there's an implication in that movie that Tora-San is still out there somewhere. He's peddling his cheap wares, he's getting drunk in an izakaya, and he's making the lives of those around him just that little bit better. In the real world in Shibamata, near the station, there's a statue of Tora-San. There's also a Tora-San museum, and a smaller museum to honour the director and writer of the series, Yamada Yoji. The town that mocked him in 50 movies finally welcomed home their nomadic fool. And as a Shinto priest says in the series, one who is aware of his own stupidity is not stupid. For me, Tora-San is not stupid. His movies are a way for me to understand Japanese culture, and they're also incredibly sweet and gentle and touching. If you get the opportunity to, you should definitely check this series out. It will open your eyes. Thank you for watching. I'll have another video out next week. If you'd like to support this channel, you can support me at patreon.com/paleocinema. And you can also subscribe and leave a comment if you think the video deserves it. I'll see you next week.